What is good, YouTube? Quinn Wade basketball analysis coming to y'all with that quick video. Today we're going to talk about an old series I call Rebuilding. Obviously, is a very used name. We're going to talk about the Phoenix Suns, and this team is a tough team because they've been bad for so many years that the fans just want to see them in the playoffs, even if they don't win a championship. They just want to see this team win. Now, this team has been through a lot. They've been in the lottery for the last couple years, um, and they're getting up there in seasons of not making the playoffs. They came close with Dragic and Bledsoe and Thomas, but they end up blowing that up, getting rid of Brandon Knight. Getting Brandon Knight. He wasn't able to perform so far. They get Tyler Eulis, they get rid of Isaiah Thomas, and then they draft Alex Len. They don't get that much out of him. Then they draft Bender and Chris. They haven't really amounted to nothing either. They get Josh Jackson. The guy had a phenomenal, well, not phenomenal, he had a solid ending to his season. Very streaky, very inefficient, has a lot of potential, but he was coming off the bench sometimes. He was starting sometimes. Devin Booker getting injured now. He don't really want to waste his young career getting injured for a team that has no direction, no identity of what they're trying to do, what they're trying to accomplish, and the pieces that they need. They're drafting best talent available. They have all these type of ideas, but let's be real. Nothing is really working for this Phoenix Suns team. That's why I'm going to try to put my best insight on every team that's a lottery team, that need to be rebuilded, on what they should do, who they should draft, and who they should pick up in free agency. So let's talk about the Phoenix Suns. Now, obviously, they did one thing right. You definitely want to get a star caliber player. They stole, to me, Devin Booker. They said he's a Ray Allen. He's a Klay Thompson 2.0. Obviously, realistically, he ain't the defender that Klay is. But he is a versatile scorer. He's a guy that can handle the ball in the pick and roll. He can knock down threes, contested, uncontested. He can knock down spot up shots in that paint, coming off screens, or even in isolation. And he has fadeaways. And he has go-to moves. He has extreme confidence. He has intangibles. And he has unlimited range. This is definitely a modern day guy you will want, especially as a playmaker. He still needs to continue to develop in that area, but they have that part done. Now you have a person that can get you 20 to 25. That's a step in the right direction. Some teams haven't been able to at least get that, and they had number one picks and top 10 picks. Like Charlotte, they got the 20-point score, but he's not a franchise changer. And Devin Booker, he can play, but you definitely don't want him getting beat up and banged up, and you're not going to do anything but be in the lottery. So they in a kind of a rut right now that they want to be competitive and they want to build young, but they also running out of time with Devin Booker. The biggest thing they have with Booker is worst case scenario, he's a restricted free agent and he takes the qualifying offer, meaning they will either have to trade him or he's just gonna walk for nothing. Kind of like what Greg Monroe did. Take a pay cut for 1 year to get to a team that really wants you to pay you the money and nothing your team can do about it. Honestly, that'd be kind of ridiculous for Devin Booker to take that type of approach, especially because Phoenix can offer him the most money, and we don't know what Phoenix really going to do since they have that number one pick. Now, the number one pick. The problem with the number one pick is they can draft best talent available and best potential, but that still interferes with the Devin Booker. Do you want to continue to build? Do you want to build around him, or do you feel like this pick is better? Do you feel like DeAndre Ayton can be better? Do you feel like Doncic, who's the EuroLeague MVP, can he be better than Devin Booker? Can they play together? Which guy do we need? We have Alex Len. He's a restricted free agent. We have Marquise Chris, who still needs more time to develop because he's bad. We have Dragon Bender. He's bad, and he needs more time to develop. But if you accelerate the process, you have to get rid of these players and turn them into players that can play now. Problem with that is that at the end of the day, if you turn a team into a competitive team and get rid of your young talent to please Devin Booker, you might have to get rid of the number one pick. You might have to get rid of some of your youth. And if you do that, you have a better chance of re-signing Devin Booker. But can you really compete in the Western Conference with the Rockets, with Kawhi Leonard and the Spurs, with the Golden State Warriors? And we don't really know about the other teams and what moves they're going to make. So if they're going to make moves to be competitive now, they're going to have to, you know, move all these players, and hopefully they can get the coach that can really take them to that playoff level. But you see, that is going to be a problem because you have the Portland problem. You have the Minnesota problem. You have the problem of OKC. Yes, you paid Devin Booker. Yes, you helped him win early. But will it be enough to win the ring? And that's why I had to keep it real. If they put this team together quickly to keep him interested, like they're doing with the Milwaukee Bucks, can you compete in your conference? Before you win a championship, you have to beat the teams in your conference. Can you make big enough moves to put you into championship contention? Or do you want to rebuild and continue to lose and risk losing Devin Booker or giving them severe injuries that slow down his progress and take him back? And that's what's been happening the last 2 years. So it's a hard place to be in, but they have the right thing. So they got to secure Devin Booker in the future, and if they can get this number one pick, and if they want to keep it, you have a bright future with Ayton, but you might not keep Dragon Bender Marquise Chris. And I think the Phoenix Suns fans are okay with that. But on the flip side, we done seen players like Jimmy Butler, like Victor Oladipo, like Rudy Gobert, like Steven Adams. Some players are late bloomers. Certain players need the right personnel around to be good. Certain players need a great coach to put them in a system to make them look better than they are, a la Greg Popovich and Brad Stevens. But you also have some players that are busts. And though Alex Len, Marquise Chris, and Dragon Bender doesn't look good. But Josh Jackson does show promise. So you don't have to really rush to fill that wing position because he need to fill out his body. He needs to get stronger and he needs to continue to work on the jump shot. He plays hard defensively. He plays hard in general. He can give you the rebounds. He can knock down the three. He's doing it now, but not consistently. But he's only a rookie, and the guy not even 21. So he has worlds of potential, and so does Dragon Bender and Chris. But they had more years, and even Alex Len to get it right. But it's starting. They're gonna have that pressure of, are we going to win, or you're gonna have the Orlando thing where you're constantly trying to find the guy, but you gotta still pay people, and people get paid by rookie scale. Then they get paid a lot of money, like Mario Hezonja, but now you don't want to keep him because he might not be that guy. That's why they might let go of Hezonja and Alfred Payton, who they got traded to the Phoenix Suns because they didn't want to pay him because they didn't feel like he was worth it. So they got draft picks, and they still stuck in the same position they was for basically 10 years. It's hard to rebuild, guys. It's hard to win a championship, and it's hard to get the right pieces at the right price, and it's hard to build a team around, a guy like Devin Booker too, because now you have to figure out what are you trying to accomplish offensively and defensively with Devin Booker being your best player. He does look amazing, he does look great, and he is clutch. But at the same time, you know, what are you going to do? Get Doncic? I prefer them to get Doncic, especially because I don't believe they're going to keep Alfred Payton. You do need another ball handler. You do need another versatile person. And they're going to have to figure out what position he's going to play because you do have Devin Booker playing the two. He's a guy that likes the ball in his hand. That you're going to try to do the Ben Simmons thing, or you're going to put him at the three, or you're going to put him at the four. It hurts putting him at the three because you just drafted Josh Jackson. And he can be a six man now. But at the same time, you want him to get his full maximum potential. So you go Ayton, but then you don't want to play Bender. Then you don't want to play Marquise Chris because you got to give the minutes to somebody. I can't give it to Alex Len, Marquise Chris, and Dragon Bender and Chandler. I can't give it to all these players. There's only certain type of minutes I can give to these players. So they're in a tough spot. Best part for them is that they have the cap space and they have some decent tradable contracts like T.J. Warren, like Tyler Eulis, and they still have picks, and they have solid role players on the team like uh, Jared Dudley, and you have the little rookie players on their rookie deal. So they have the cap space. They have a superstar potential guy in Devin Booker. They have the number one pick, which is an asset. You can flip that into an all star. You can flip that into a superstar because you have the cap space and you have that pick. And you have another pick in the draft in the first round, which is the 16th pick, which is valuable in this draft because it goes 20 deep if you're looking for role players or potential players that you can put around this team. That's another player that you can add with another rookie contract in DeAndre Ayton or Doncic. Then you can add another solid rookie on rookie scale on that 16th pick. Or you can just trade both of them, go for a superstar, and try to rebuild fast. Problem with that, like I said, is if you don't have enough to beat the Warriors or Houston, what are you really doing? You don't want to be too patient because then you have your superstars like Booker getting older and getting injuries, but you also want to build around them so they want to stay. And you also want to be competitive unless the fans ain't going to pack up the arena. So I like what they do. I definitely think they don't get a free agent. If you can't trade the number one pick, I definitely wouldn't try to sign a big free agent because you're not getting KD, you're not getting LeBron, you're not probably getting Paul George. Then who do you really want to go alongside Devin Booker if you can't get none of those guys at all? So that's one thing I definitely would say. Either get Ayton because he has the most potential in the most he has the most upside, but you're going to have to find a way to clear space by getting rid of these picks. Maybe trade them to go lower in the draft. Maybe you try to package them together with the 16 pick and get another top 5, top 10 player in the draft. Or maybe, you add Bender, you add Chris, or even somebody else with those picks and try to get a superstar to go with Aiden in Booker or Doncic in Booker. And that looks good because they're still going to be young. They might be more competitive. They still got to learn how to win. They still got to learn how to close out games, and they're going to have to go through learning curves and speed bumps for trying to accelerate the process, like we've seen with Minnesota with Zach LaVine, Andrew Wiggins, and Karl-Anthony Towns. They had the talent. Everybody thought they was going to make the playoffs, but they didn't even come close last year. But they was young with a lot of talent, and they tried to accelerate it, and then they get Jimmy Butler in the playoffs. But are they a contender? What's their ceiling? They're not on that Houston Golden State level just yet. They're good enough to make the playoffs. They may get out of the first round, but the goal is to win a championship. You play 82 games to have a best shot at getting a championship with the 1, 2, 3, or 4 seed. You want to have the best chance. You get the highest seed. Gives you an easier route. Not really in the West, but they can't help they in the West. But that's what you want to do so you can get to the finals. But you still got to go through Golden State. You still got to go through San Antonio. You still got to go through Houston. And you never know what these young teams like Portland, like Denver, like Minnesota, and New Orleans going to do. But if you can't sign a big free agent, which I doubt, you definitely need to get Aiden or Doncic. Those are franchise changing players potentially. And I don't really like Phoenix development. Alex Len hasn't really developed into anything. And so have these other rookies. And if you do get Aiden, you can still play Josh Jackson a lot of minutes at the 3 and help him develop into that slasher / spot up 3-point shooter. And hopefully he can get a little bit more ball handling and playmaking, as he get older, as he gets the body, and as he gets confidence of putting the practice and the work in to become repetition. So at the end of the day, Phoenix in a better position than other teams with the number one pick and a superstar, a budding superstar, and some young pieces that can develop into stars or put them together to trade up in the draft or to get another pick or even trade for a superstar by adding the draft picks and a potential young star to get a startup pair with Devin Booker. And they got picks in the future. So not just this draft. And they will always have that salary cap. Brandon Knight, let's keep it real. His contract is almost over too. That's 16 more million that you don't have to pay to Brandon Knight. And he hasn't even been contributing to the team anyway, but taking up salary cap. So I like where they at. I like their future with the young talent in the picks and the number one pick. But can they execute it, do the right scouting, get the right fit, build around these two, add pieces like Philly did that meshes and fits with this team, form an identity, and then try to sign that next big free agent. If you can't, you still got Aiden or Doncic with Devin Booker. You have a potential starter in Josh Jackson, and you still have a bunch of picks in the future, including that 16 pick that you can package maybe, you know, TJ Warren, Marquise Chris, or Dragon Bender. And you have a team that can have bigs that can stretch the floor and play in pick and roll and potentially dominate in the inside if, everything works out with Chris or Bender staying on the roster. Those are more stretch fours and fives. And you got Aiden who can do the same thing, but also dominating the pick and roll with Devin Booker, who has been excellent in there. And having another versatile center and forward will only expand his game, especially as a ball handler and as a pick and roll player, because you can't go under the screen because he's going to torch you. If you do, he can always lob it or dump it off to Aiden, but you still have Bender and Chris who can knock down jumpers potentially. And if you don't have them, there's a lot of stretch fours and fives in the league now. And like I said, they still got the 31st pick, still got the 16 pick. They can always find somebody else or package them together. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Do you think Phoenix is going in the right direction? Do you feel like they, don't know what they're going to be doing like the Orlando Magic? Do you think they just need an identity? Do you think they just need a direction? Do you think they're going to be rebuilding for the next 5 to 6 years? We don't know. Check out my website. It'll be in the description in the comment section below. Check out my Facebook page. It'll be in the description in the comment section below. And if it's Phoenix Suns, let's have at it in the comment section below.